Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Locked, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, and not joined by Trevor this week. We kind of warned you last week. We were joined in studio by our editor and producer, Mr. Connor Kennedy.
Yep, I'm happy to be here.
Now, first off, no one's going to really comment anything yet, but everyone comments your name wrong. It's Connor with a K.
It is. It's Konner. So just spell it the wrong way.
And he gets highly offended every time he reads one of your comments with a C.
Not really.
No.
But.
No, I feel like that's the most common mistake probably ever.
Yeah. I mean, it's spelled wrong. My name is spelled wrong. Yeah. So
at least you address it.
Yeah.
At least you're aware of the mistake your parents made.
Yeah, I'm definitely aware. I give them a hard time about it. Yeah.
So if you're wondering where Trevor is on his honeymoon currently, probably kicking it on a beach in St. Augustine, Florida. He'll be back next week. I'll actually be gone next week. We'll have to figure out if it's going to be Trevor and you or if it's going to be me Skyping in with Trevor, but we'll figure that out later. That's for a different time. We actually don't have a ton to talk about this week. There was an event last week, the Mid-America Open. A lot kind of went down in between this podcast happening and this week with the Mid-America Open. First thing we want to talk about, though, is the dark horse picks, because as you see, we both have coffee in front of us. That is because I'm the one that went and got coffee, and Connor is the one who won. So, Connor, you had your pick, Brock Roller.
I did, yeah.
He came in 31st at 14 under par.
And he was the lowest rated out of the three of us. And he was like way lower rated. So
his first round was meh, about what you would expect. It was actually below his rating, 962. Mm-hmm. Then he kind of popped off. He went 48-48, which was 1033 and 1024 to be 14 under par and beat out Trevor for the win by one stroke. Trevor had John Jones, who was in 38th, also shot way above his rating. And Maximus, if you're listening, come on, man, you let me down. He did not play worthy of the name Maximus. No, he also didn't play worthy of his rating. Mm. He went 920, 916, 940. Mm-hmm. So that one really hurt. It cost me a vanilla oat milk iced latte to Connor. I was kind of hoping it was going to be Trevor because I wanted to just Venmo him out of the blue $5 and see if he knew what it was for. But
it wouldn't be the only thing that he'd be receiving from us this week.
That's true. You'll see that in the vlog.
Yep. Can't talk about it anymore.
Next week. Yeah. Hopefully, Connor's first off, Trevor's not going to listen to this, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's true.
But if Trevor did listen to this, then he's probably like, "What the heck? Why hasn't it shown up at my door?" But sticking with Mid-America Open, it was kind of interesting who the top of this field were. So first off, let's look at the first thing that we noticed is Paul McBeth did not actually end up playing.
First thing that we noticed is there was like nobody there. There's like few big names.
Yeah, I mean, you had Chris Dickerson, Drew Gibson, Kevin Jones, Nico, James Conrad, and that's probably where the biggest names kind of fall off. Mm-hmm. So there was a few big names there. You're right, though, not a ton. Part of it, though, was Paul was going to be there, as was Brody. Brody, we talked about last week, did not go because of the weather and everything. Yeah. Paul ended up making the same decision, but it was after it had happened. I don't know what I just said. After it happened, basically the snow came in. We talked about that last week. Yeah. And then they shifted courses. And basically once they shifted courses, Paul decided to go on to DDO. Mm-hmm. It is kind of unfortunate to have to have done that right before because Harmony Bends is like such an iconic course. Mm-hmm. People always talk about it. I think it's the number one course in the U.S. or pretty close to it. It has been in the past. And then they had to shift it to a different park. I forget what it was. A little bit shorter, more technical. That's when I picked Chris Dickerson.
Yeah, that's when it worked out for you because you didn't know that before you picked him, right?
No, I knew that right before.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, that makes sense because it's a putter course.
Yeah.
So,
but it ended up not really working out because Kyle Klein, of all people, won.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me whenever I saw it. But I mean, he hasn't been playing bad. His name just hasn't been up there that much.
What's weird, though, is like I always picture Kyle Klein as a mini Eagle.
Yeah, I think of him like that a little bit, too.
I mean, he looks like Eagle. He throws Discmania. He kind of throws like Eagle.
Yeah.
So when I think of Eagle, I don't think of technical wooded golf. Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, Kyle Klein ended up winning by 2 over Emerson Keith and Chris Dickerson. Which Emerson, again, he's kind of in the same boat as Kyle Klein, where you don't really hear his name a lot this year, I feel like.
Yeah, but I feel like he's a pretty good woods player, though. Especially his short game is really good.
Yeah, I'm
He's
actually
got that weird throw putt. That's
looking at his year. I mean, he's had a decent year, but nothing great. On the Pro Tour, he went. This is Emerson 64th at Las Vegas. Not great, especially for him. 11th at Waco. It's a little better. 16th at the Open at Belton, which was a Silver Series. 16th at Texas State, which was a national tour, and then 46th at Jonesboro, second. So nowhere near what you really expect from Emerson.
Yeah, that's where it was so weird because I said like earlier that like nobody really showed up, but the people that did show up that were the big players, other than Chris Dickerson, they were down there. They were pretty like mid to bottom. Yeah. Very few of them were up at the top.
If you look at Drew Gibson was in 14th, Kevin Jones 31st. Nico was in 9th, so Nico was able to get in the top 10, but that's not like something crazy impressive at this tournament all around. James Conrad was in 21st. Anthony Barella, 38th. Just saw another name, Michael Johansson, 48th. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, Ezra Robinson, I thought that was Ezra Aderhold, but Ezra Robinson's still a really great player, 24th. There's Ezra Aderhold, 44th. So, yeah, you're right. The top players here, or like players that we mentioned a lot more on tour, for some reason did not do well out here. And it seems like the course was playing relatively easy, averaging 9 under par, won it. But that's not anything crazy. Like that's you see that a lot on tour. But yeah, Kyle Klein taking it down on the men's side. The women's side, however, I was right.
Yeah.
Heather Young. I mean, I took a shot in the dark there, but she took it down. This was a women's field that, again, it wasn't as full as you would see at a normal Pro Tour. We had Heather Young, Vanessa Van Dyken, Ella Midboom, Missy Gannon, Kat Mersch, and then Rebecca Cox. After that, though, a lot of these names, some of them tour a little bit here and there, but none of them are top pros. You're missing the Haley King, Paige Pierce, Katrina Allen, those type players. But Heather Young was able to take it down, averaging slightly above her rating. Vanessa Van Dyken coming second, and Ellen Widboom coming in third. No real surprises there to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, the only kind of surprise is Missy Gannon probably would have had a shot at a win here.
Yeah.
I think she actually talked about that some on the Nick and Matt show, didn't she?
Yeah, on the Nick and Matt show, she talked about how she was just getting more comfortable with being on tour, period, and just was talking.
That was a little too high.
And she was just talking about how a lot of performing well on the Pro Tour was getting comfortable in the field.
Yeah,
and really just in her headspace. And so I think that, and she talked about how her like unrealistic goal was she wanted to finish top 5. But her realistic goal was, okay, I know...
That's it, Pro Tours.
Yeah, Pro Tours. Yeah. She said, I know that I can do top 10s, though. But she continued to be top 5 this week. So she seemed very determined from watching her interview last week. So it wasn't surprising to me that she was at least top 10. But I kind of was expecting a little bit higher, honestly.
Well, I mean, she came in 4th, but it was a Silver Series. But I mean, I'm kind of surprised that she's saying her unrealistic goal is top 5.
Yeah, well, I think she might have just been trying to be like modest. Yeah.
I was gonna say, because so far she's only played bigger events. The smallest events she's played have been Silver Series, and she went 9th, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 4th. So she's finished inside the top 5 one time more than outside the top 5, and she's never finished outside the top 10 so far this year.
So I mean, her realistic goal is definitely very realistic.
Maybe by realistic she means like easily achievable.
Yeah. I think she didn't want to be too hard on herself if she didn't finish top 5, and she didn't want to come across like, oh, I'm definitely doing top 5.
Yeah.
So I think she was just trying to kind of
be modest.
Being modest with that.
And that's fair. It's always better to go on that side than to come out and say you're going to win every weekend and end up not.
It is really interesting from watching her interview how, like, you know, I make the podcast clips for the Nick and Matt show, so I see a lot of the interviews, and they've been asking, Matt has been asking a lot of questions just about how, like, what it's like being on tour. And I feel like almost everybody that's come through is just talking about how important it is just to be comfortable on tour. And I think that that's really interesting that that's like one of their top answers is like, they don't necessarily always go into practicing their putting reps, but they go into just being comfortable and having friends and having good like community on tour.
Well, I think that's one of the things that you've seen, at least I've seen kind of when I've went out on the road, is like the players who are doing the best have that like kind of core support group where they have 3-4 players, other players, maybe like husband and wife, like duos, whatever. And then they also have somewhere they can call home. I think that's the big thing is from the outside looking in, you look at these vans and RVs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, like touring disc golf sounds amazing, but like, would I really want to live in that for 95% of my year? Especially when you're someone who is high profile as like a Ricky or a Paul, where you're like, my sponsor would pay for me to be in a hotel if I was there. Yeah. Like, why wouldn't I choose a hotel? I think what you're saying right there, that's a big part of it, is being comfortable, because then that RV becomes your home. Yeah. So like that, when you park it, right, even though it might be not quite as quote unquote comfortable as staying in a hotel, you know what I mean? There might be some situations where the bathroom or washer and dryer situation might not be as comfortable. Yeah. But what is comfortable is you get to always come home to the same spot. Yeah. And I think that is a big part of it. But I think there's kind of two layers to that too, of being comfortable on tour. And it'd be interesting to know which one Missy was talking about, because there's the being comfortable in that sense of like actually your RV life, your home life, whatever, where you can, nest, make a home. And then there's the being comfortable actually like on the courses. Yeah. Week in and week out.
I think she was referring to both of them, but she definitely was more so referring to like the community, like making friends on tour. Yeah. And then also, I think also just getting used to the high end like competition. Yeah. As well.
I think that's the hard part for like, I've seen some of my friends have been like that trying to tour level, where they're just getting into the sport and they're trying to make it on tour, and they don't have the RV. They don't want to sleep in their cars. So what it ends up being is like every single week you're in someone else's home. Yeah. And to me, the way I'm a very like homebody. Like I love being at home. That would not go well with me. Yeah. I can do it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. But like to go from March to October and you're always staying in someone else's bed, like I'm always like worried I'm inconveniencing someone, you know what I mean?
That's I would never get like actually comfortable. Yeah. Like physically or like mentally, because I would always be worried about like, man, am I a burden to somebody right now?
Yeah, and then like if someone didn't have a bath towel for you and you're like, week one, you're like, okay, I'll ask them. But then like by like the 10th different house, and yeah. I don't know. And then if you do get too comfortable, then you might not have a place to stay the next year you come back around. That's true. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic. And it was something I actually want to talk about later in the show, but I think this is a perfect segue, which is another thing that we're starting to see is the sports in this kind of growth and transition period, right? Where the explosive growth that we've seen over the last year has revealed a lot of issues that we never had before. Yeah. But I think the issue with growth is when it happens as fast as it's happening in disc golf, you don't have time to make sustainable, good changes. You sometimes have to just react and do something. And I think one of the changes that we're starting to see become more and more of an issue, because what's going to be weird about this one specifically is the way the growth happened. It happened to where we've seen it in every aspect of disc golf except for the fans on the Pro Tour, because COVID obviously shut down people being able to be there. So we don't actually know how big these Pro Tour events are going to be and how big of an issue player security.
That's true. We haven't had a packed gallery since, the boom of disc golf this year. So that'd be really interesting to see.
So what I think, and I've heard some different stories. I'm not going to mention names or who, because I don't want, this was kind of confidential when stuff was being said. But there's been different instances where now that spectators are slowly being brought back, there are some issues that you're being seen with player security. And some of it is Pro Tour, National Tour that they can handle. And some of it is just the way disc golf has been done might have to be relooked at, because we just talked about RVs and vans. Yeah. Okay. One thing that has always been done is like you want that marketing. You know what I mean? You want that your face, the name on the side, all of that. That's great. Up to this point, that's like almost like free quote unquote marketing, because your vehicle, you put your face on the side. Issue with that is now everyone knows where you are.
Yeah, there's a big plastered picture of like your van is your name tag as well. Like everybody just knows where you are. So all the time.
Let's just say James Conrad. Okay, he has his van with his face on the side. Yep. If I go on social media and like I'm at this RV park because I'm in town for the DDO, and I'm at an RV park and his van's parked at this RV park. Post a picture, boom. Now everyone knows where James Conrad is staying for that week. Yeah. The issue that could come in is people now are almost so comfortable with pros because the level of disc golf up to this point, where pros are your friends first, pros second a lot of times, that now it's like, oh, sick. Well, I'm in the area. I'm going to just swing by and try to get James' signature. And like, that kind of sounds so dumb. Like, yeah, Hunter, no one will do. That's kind of happening at some points, right? People are overstepping because they feel like they know people. They're overstepping to be like, hey, can you sign this completely off the course? That is an issue with the players themselves. The players have to solve that issue.
Yeah.
What we're going to be even more interested in is the on the course issues. Because you've been to majors, and like big tournaments, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've done a USDGC at least 3 times.
So you've experienced it. USDGC is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Walking from hole 16 to 17.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone makes that walk.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're standing at the basket of 16, you're on the road.
Yeah.
And then the players have to walk onto that road and walk up to 17.
Yeah. They have to walk through the gallery, basically.
Exactly. In the past, and there's no one like holding ropes, separating the gallery, making a room.
Yeah.
In the past, not a big deal. But USDGC is one of the bigger tournaments in the US. So we're talking a few thousand people. Let's say that this fall, this is a way too drastic number. I don't expect this, but let's say this fall, it was like 9,000 people or 10,000 people. And now you're Ricky coming down the stretch, about walking to hole 17. It's like almost probably a quarter of a mile walk. Mm-hmm. You're trying to stay focused, tournament on the line, but you got to walk through 10,000 of your fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
10,000 people that want to see you.
Yeah, that's not happening in any other sport. That's for sure.
There's going to be a few of them that don't get social cues of you don't talk to them right now. Mm-hmm. And then that's going to break your focus. That just messes you up. Another thing you have to start worrying about is like players' bags getting stolen from warm-ups. That's happened in the past, but that's going to be a bigger and bigger issue.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
There's a lot of player parking where players can get out of their car, get to their warm-up, get to the course, and get back to their car safely without having to be mobbed or anything like that. You know, because the issue with security is if you wait till something happens, it's too late.
Yep.
Because if you wait till a player literally gets jumped and their bag stolen, it's too late.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So stuff needs to start happening, being put in place now so that when we know how big we are and we know kind of what these tournaments are able to bring in, because we're still months, if not a year away from every tournament on tour being 100% good to go.
Yeah.
When that happens, what on earth is it going to look like?
Yeah, that's such a good point, because there's so many people that hadn't even heard of disc golf before, and now they're crazy into it, even just after this year or these few months, really. And we are used to, like, I'm even used to, especially being from Charlotte, like, I see popular players all the time on courses.
Yeah.
Like, especially whenever I have, like, Hornets Nest that I play every couple weeks. Like, I see Michael Johansson out there, like, a good bit. And I'm never walking up to him like, hey, man, you want to play around? But I've definitely said hi to him before. And I've had a friend of mine ask for, like, a signature before. And we're just so used to that. And I think it's really, like, we can speak from, like, a fan. Like, I can at least speak from, like, a fan's perspective of, like, it's going to take some self-recognition from fans and, like, social awareness from fans to know, like, we can't treat all pros like they're our best friends whenever they're at a pro tournament. Yeah. Like, we've got to just be able to accept that, you know, this sport is growing, and we can even get excited about it. The fact that, like, it's definitely more of an elite sport now, to where it's not just a backyard sport.
Yeah.
And it makes me excited, but we also have to be like, self-aware enough to know whenever I'm on a course watching a tournament, like, I need to give them their space and treat them like they're professional athletes, because they are.
Yeah.
And because, like, that would never happen. I mean, could you imagine if in football, whenever the players are running out onto the field, all the fans are just, like, on the walkway between like the locker rooms and the field? Like, that would be crazy. And so we have to, I agree with you that, like, it's slow decisions that happen, but it's definitely interesting to see how that's going to work out.
Because one thing that I always, this topic has been brought up a few times, but I think that it's always been brought up as, like, this is something in the future that we really need to start thinking about. Whereas now I'm like, no, this is kind of something that right now it might be an issue pretty soon. Mm-hmm. But something that I always thought of is Tiger Woods, his, like, one of his first wins back, or when he was in, I think it was his first win back. I watched his, like, whole documentary on it. Back from his, like, back surgery and everything. Mm-hmm. He was coming down to, like, 18th green. And golf is very good about, there's, like, a players, and then there's separation, and then the crowd. A lot of times the crowd isn't even walking on the fairways. Like, that's never even really allowed. And it's a very good separation. So one thing that also does, completely side note, is it makes it more special when you do meet those players. Because then, right now, you know, probably half the people listening to this podcast, if a pro tour's ever come to your area, you've met whatever player you wanted to meet. Yeah. It's super easy to do. Mm-hmm. Not saying that's a bad thing. That's just something that once there's 10,000 people, then, you know, Paul and Ricky and Eagle having to sign 500 autographs. Now it goes to them having to sign 1,000 or 10,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As the sport grows, that becomes more and more of an issue. But regardless, on 18, Tiger's walking down. He has like the putt to win it. Mm-hmm. And he like, as he's walking and approaching the green, everyone wanted to be there and surrounding the green to see this moment happen.
Yeah.
So they just trampled security, basically. The ropes and everything they had up, they just trampled it. And so out of nowhere, you have literally thousands of people starting to surround the 18th green, and Tiger's nowhere to be seen.
Wow.
And then you just see like a cop pushing through the crowd. And then once the cop pushes through, Tiger's right behind him. And he comes through to tap out his putt to win.
Wow.
And everyone in golf is like freaking out. Like, oh my word, this is such a like special moment. Look at this. This has never happened, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then like I've heard multiple disc golfers look at it. And we were all looking at it and we're like, it just kind of looks like Worlds. Like,
yeah.
Just, like obviously there's a lot more people. But like to us, it's not weird to see a huge crowd and Paul emerge from the crowd or Ricky emerge from the crowd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not like an odd thing. But in that moment, like the PGA Tour is freaking out because Tiger at any moment was just swarmed.
Yeah.
And he still has to finish. Mm-hmm. That's something that they obviously have like high restrictions on. Mm-hmm. And it looks so weird to them because that sport's kind of gotten there to where there has to be that separation. To us, it just looks normal.
Yeah. But
that's definitely something that, I don't know, I wanted to bring it up because it's technically like the fan responsibility.
Yeah.
You expect the fan to have some common sense and know these things, but you also kind of have to assume that they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because 95% of them do, but the 5% that don't, or the 5% that don't care if they do know, is what causes issues.
Yeah.
So you almost have to treat everyone like they're dumb because of the few that are.
And basically. I think it is important that like as we're making these rules and finding ways to make it to where they're not crowding players, we also still keep like the passion that's in disc golf, because I know a lot of the players,
that's a tough balance,
and a lot of the players love it. They love whenever there's the gallery cheering them on and stuff like that, and because we've seen multiple interviews of them saying that. But like thinking of like if I'm at USDGC, if there's some ropes and it's just guided like, hey. I would actually think it'd be better.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to worry about like fighting for your spot at the next place or like trying to make sure you can see. Because if there's ropes, everybody has to stand over here, has to follow this line, and you don't feel like you've got to run to the next place.
It's a strategy. I don't know, I don't know if our listeners have ever been to a World or USDGC, but like when I've went and I'm just in the crowd, just watching whatever going down, it's literally a strategy of like, when do you leave and go to the next hole?
Yeah.
Because you want to, especially like I always liked being on the green.
Yeah.
So I got to watch the shots come in, the putts. Because a lot of times you could watch most of the hole that way. So I'd always like get to the green, set up as close to the front as I could. And then once everyone was inside the circle, I would literally just take off like jogging.
Yeah.
To try to get to the next hole.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like,
and you also have to decide like which hole do I care about more?
Yeah.
Like, do I want to watch like just this part of this hole, or do I want to go to that hole and watch them putt on?
Yeah, it's kind of stressful.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's so much fun though.
No, it is.
I'm excited. I'm so excited for that stuff to open back up because that is such a fun thing to do in disc golf. And it made me so much more into disc golf. Like I was pretty into it the first time I went to USDGC, and then me and my friends got together and went. And leaving USDGC, I was just so much more of a fan of disc golf. It
Absolutely.
was so cool.
I mean, watching it it's like any sport.
Yeah.
Watching it in person makes it so much better. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you that like we have to be careful how it's implemented because you want to. It's a weird balance because you want to keep that closeness to the sport and closeness, like grassroots type feel for the fans and for the players, while still treating the players like professional athletes and making sure that there is that separation.
Yep.
I don't think that fans should be like in bleachers and like designated like spots where like I like the fans walking down the fairway and like getting to watch because that gives you the best angles. You get to watch them actually hit this line or actually scramble, and you're right there, and you know full well like, okay, yeah, I could not do what that guy just did.
Yeah,
because you saw it. You know, watching on Jomez or on YouTube or whatever. A lot of times you can watch and you be like, what? Why is everyone freaking out over that shot? Like, but then you're in person, you're like, oh my word.
Yeah, because you can actually, like what you said, you can compare it to I can't do that on TV. You can do anything.
Yeah,
and so you're watching, you're like, oh, I could totally throw that.
Yeah,
but if you're in person and you're watching and you're like, okay, if I was here. Like, I'm watching Paul set up for his shot. I'm like, okay, what would I throw here?
Yep.
Probably try to throw the same thing as Paul, except for he would hyzer out really early. But you can see him throw something on a frozen rope for like 420 feet, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to throw the biggest flex line of my life to get there. Like it's just
so a whole different.
It's so exciting.
That's where I hope like they're able to keep that. I think the answer is just more volunteers that are holding the ropes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where they're able to wrap it and then like tell spectators where to go and where not to go, and be willing to kick spectators out if they break it.
Yeah.
So like if a spectator does cross that rope and try to get up in front wherever, be willing to say like, hey, we have the park shut down.
And I don't think that'd be too much of a problem. Like, no. I don't think people would have a hard time with it.
People are a lot of tournaments are almost there.
Yeah,
I think the biggest issue that I think is still present is the parking warm up to the first tee. Mm-hmm. So getting from their cars to the warm up area and from the warm up area to the first tee. I think that needs a little bit more separation so that players can actually get in the zone and warm up, and when they show up, they can choose to interact with fans. Like if you have like designated rope areas where fans can watch the players get out of their car and go to the warm up zone. And then if a player like Paul gets out of his car and it's Worlds and he's final round, he's dialed, he doesn't want to see anyone, he can choose to do that.
Yeah.
But if it's the first round and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go say hi to everyone, then he can walk up and sign stuff at the rope.
Yeah, that's why it shouldn't be that hard for people to adjust to it.
Yeah.
Because like Paul, after most tournaments, he like has a designated time that's set up to like sign discs and stuff. And I don't think that would, and especially because players know that like getting their fans to like them is what's going to make them more money because they're going to sell more discs.
Yeah.
Like if Paul's a super nice guy, which he is, then I would be way more willing to be like, I want to support Paul more.
Yeah.
And so.
For sure.
I say Paul because that's how I was early on in disc golf, and still I'm just a huge Paul fanboy.
And I think that goes for like 99% of players. But there is the time where a player finishes a round and they just shot two over par and they don't want to see anyone.
And that should
be fine too.
Yeah.
But right now they don't have that option because right now if you don't want to see anyone, I have to address you face to face.
Yeah, you have to look down and just plow through them, or you got to say I don't want to.
Even at that, you know, you might be literally like getting in your car and someone's walking up to you and you're like, I do not want to see anyone right now. Like if you say the wrong thing, I'm going to punch you. But yeah, I'll sign your disc because like what else am I going to do? You pin me up against my car.
I mean, Paul can't even go to Chipotle and not get someone to sign his disc.
Yeah,
I know that because I have a friend that texted me like last week and was like, "Hey, I just saw Paul at Chipotle."
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we as a sport have to continue thinking about and figuring out the sustainable solutions so that we can implement them now and not have to make drastic changes as we grow.
Yeah.
So something that we can do, and we know when we get to 50, 100,000 people, we can keep this in place. Mm-hmm. That's definitely a key. Really quick, before we jump into the next segment, I do want to mention the Battle for Bedford registration is about to open this upcoming weekend. On this Friday, the April 30th, it'll open to the sponsors of the tournament. They'll take up a few of the spots. And then Saturday, May 1st, I believe it is. Actually, let me look at the calendar before I sound like an absolute fool. Saturday, May 1st, it opens to 1,000 plus rated MPO players, 950 plus rated FPO players. On May 3rd, it opens to 975 plus rated MPO and 920 plus rated FPO. That's just to make sure that we have several higher tier pros that had said they wanted to get in, so this makes sure it gives them plenty of time. But then May 7th, next Friday, a week and 1 day from today, is when it fully opens to everyone. There's tons of spots, so I would be shocked if it filled, but if this is an event that you're really wanting to play in, you're definitely going to want to be on the site, on Disc Golf Scene, on May 7th to make sure you get in. We're going to have a few events leading up the week of the tournament. The tournament goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll probably have like a foundation versus the nation, assuming COVID guidelines and everything allow us to do so. Hopefully do like a flex start. I think we're going to do a charity flex start for the Palm of Beth Foundation. So if you want to come, make a week out of it, play all the courses that you see in our videos. Hopefully get to, meet Paul, Brody, us, all of that. Definitely, it's going to be a super fun event. We are stoked. And if you're an MPO or FPO or age-protected professional and you're looking at it, should you play in this tournament? We have guaranteed at least $10,000 added to the professional purse. That is continuously growing, but right now it's at least $10,000. Might be able to announce it a little bit more as we get closer to the event, but it's definitely going to be I'm very, very excited for this.
And these are some really good courses.
Yeah.
There are some great courses.
Yeah. I'm very, very excited for the product that we're putting together. You're not going to want to miss it. So May 7th, for everyone, general public, that is when the registration opens. There are tiered registration guidelines for other people, so you can check it out on discgolfscene.com. Just search Battle for Bedford, and it will come up. Now, instead of Trevor's trivia, because if you've been listening to this and you don't already know, Trevor's not here. Should be pretty obvious. Instead of Trevor's trivia, we're going to do a Konner quiz. It doesn't have alliteration, but it both has a sound. Yeah, Konner quiz. Mm-hmm. I spelled quiz with a K because we can. So basically, we're just going to get to know you a little bit because I feel like our audience doesn't really know you much. Yeah. Because you're always behind the camera. You're always editing stuff. Yeah. You're always...
Mainly what they know about me is just from the one video where I made an appearance wearing jorts.
Jorts, yeah. Yep.
Which I am wearing jorts today. Just full disclosure.
He sure is. And if they watch our office vlogs, they got a lot of Konner, but they don't know Konner. They don't know you. You know what I mean? They still spell your name with a C. So we're going to get them to know the Konner with a capital K. So let's just start it off real early. How did you get into disc golf? Where were you born? No. How'd you get into disc golf? How'd you find this sport?
So my brother-in-law, Cody, he played disc golf whenever I was really young. Whenever I was in like elementary school through middle school, he played with his friends all the time. And he had this DX Wolf that he would take out. The DX Wolf and this like 15-year-old DX AVR. And he would just go out there and just tomahawk the crap out of everything. And he was great. He was great. And so I'd never played with him. I just like heard about him going and playing and stuff like that. So that's how I knew disc golf existed. But I didn't actually go play until I was a senior in high school. And me and my friends were literally just looking for another hobby. And someone was like, I found like my parents' old discs in the attic. We should go play disc golf. And so I went to Dick's and I bought a DX Wraith and a DX Colt because it had a gun on it, and I thought that was cool. And so, and we went and played, and I was terrible, but it was so much fun. It was just, I mean, everybody knows this, that's in disc golf. It's so addictive as soon as you start doing it. And so, like, that day, I left the course, like, we all said bye and everything. I went to my house, I pulled up YouTube on the TV, and watched clinics, and watched form videos from Paul and Nate, and, like, I literally stood in my living room and just practiced the X step over and over and over again, and like took form very seriously. And it took, I'm a hobbyist like crazy, so it does not take long for me to get into something. So literally like that week I was ordering discs off Amazon. Nice. And like by the end of the month I had a bag full of discs and was playing every single day. And
that's the way to do it, you know? That's what we tell every beginner.
Buy as many discs as possible.
Buy 30 discs.
Buy a legacy 14-speed driver, and you're going to throw so far.
Yeah, it's going to work out great for you.
But we literally, me and my friends played every day after that, and we were like, what did we do before disc golf? I guess we just sat down and watched YouTube videos, but like literally there's no before disc golf.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I've just been playing a lot. Super fun.
So you're from Charlotte, right? So what was your first course?
Okay.
That you played?
My first course that I played was a little course called Crooked Creek. Actually, it's at Crooked Creek Park. I can't remember what the name of it is.
It's like something at Crooked Creek.
Yeah. But it's a super fun like pitch and putt course, and actually was posted by Innova on their Instagram a couple years ago as like the best pitch and putt course in America.
Really?
Yeah. It's so good. It's like the pars are way too easy. Like there are par fours that shouldn't be there shouldn't be any par fours, but it is a really fun course. Super fun.
Nice.
I'll take you there sometime.
Yeah.
You want to go after work?
Yeah, let's just drive the 3.5 hours and go play Crooked Creek or something at Crooked Creek. That's what we're going to call it. Something.
We're
going to play something around disc golf at something park. So when you first started, played Crooked Creek, you never really played tournaments much, did you?
I still haven't really played very much.
So then that eliminates my second question.
No. Yeah. What were you gonna ask? What the first tournament I played?
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of slowly inch towards if you knew what your rating was. But
did you look at my rating?
I don't know it.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
You told me it was like in the 700s or 800s.
It's got to be low 700s.
Low. Okay. Well, now I gotta look it up.
All I've played is I was on the team at Liberty with Hunter. Is like. As soon as I got to Liberty, I heard about the disc golf team and wanted to join it, so I did that. And that was like the first rated tournament I'd ever played, and I played so bad. And then
should I renew your membership right now?
What?
Should I renew your membership?
Do it. Renew it.
No, I'm not. That's like $75.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't. That's why I want you to renew it. So yeah, I played awful there, and then everything else we played on the team was doubles. Like, because I was never on our top flight, so I never played any singles.
Played a lot of doubles,
and so my ratings never got better.
Okay, best disc golf moment up to this point.
Ooh.
In your personal game.
My personal game.
Not like you witnessed something.
Okay,
like best thing you've ever done.
First time I ever played Falling Creek. It was the old layout.
Yeah.
Before it was redone.
Mm-hmm.
Red tees or red baskets.
Yeah.
We played a tag match there. I was on a card with Christian.
Yep.
And who else was there? They were all on my disc, but I don't remember who else. I don't think I wasn't on. No, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But we walked up to a hole. I'd never played the course before, and I was newer on the team. And they were like, "Yeah, just to let you know, this hole is like stupid. You can't get to the basket at all. Like you can try to throw a skip shot to get there, but you're not going to get to the basket." And basically, these two huge like bushy pine trees, and you just got a gap underneath. There's no straight shot. And then it was about like 320 feet, and then like a little bit to the left. But it was all clear up there once you got past those trees. But they're like, there's literally nothing you do. You just throw as hard as you can a driver underneath the trees and try to skip up there. And then I looked up and I saw like a little, where the trees separated, I saw like a little spot up there. I was like, I'm just going to throw one of my flippy flat top KC rocks through there because I'm just like Paul Macbeth. And so I just took my rock and I threw it up there. And I used to be a lot better at disc golf than I am now because I probably couldn't do this now. And it flipped perfectly. And then we heard chains and it went into the basket and they all started freaking out. And I was just like it was just so amazing. So yeah, that was my first ace.
Oh, that was your first ace?
That was my first ace, yeah.
Dang.
So it was pretty cool.
That's pretty sick. That's actually a really good one to get. So now it's obviously you do all of our camera shooting, editing.
Yep.
Camera shooting, that's how you say it.
Mm-hmm. That's
videography,
term.
Editing, producing the shows, all of that. When did you get into that stuff?
I was talking to somebody about this a couple weeks ago, and I realized how long I haven't been doing this.
Nice.
But I actually, not even a year. Probably.
From now? Like
from
not
now.
even a year ago?
Not even a year ago.
How long have you worked here?
Not a year. I think I started editing.
How long had you been doing it before we hired you?
2 months.
Oh, okay. That's not as bad as I thought.
But I edited one video.
Yeah, you kind of swindled me a little bit. But
I totally did. Yeah. So yeah, I haven't been doing it long at all. But like I said, I'm a hobbyist. So as soon as I watched a YouTube video on filmmaking, I was in it. And I was like, I want this camera. And I got it. And I just didn't stop watching YouTube videos because I don't like to do things unless I already know everything about it.
Yeah.
And so I knew everything about it, and I didn't have much experience though. So I shot a video for a nonprofit organization that I work with, and it was pretty cool. My parents told me that I did a good job, so that means that it was great. And then can I just say like how I got the job?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. So I texted Hunter because I'd been following Foundation since the start of it because I knew Hunter. And I texted him and I was like, hey, man, I don't know if you guys just need any extra help like stocking shelves or anything, but I'm looking for a job and I would love to do it. And he texted me back, which was great because I didn't even expect a text back. Or
you messaged me on GroupMe.
GroupMe because I didn't have your number.
Yeah.
So like I didn't expect a message back, which was super cool that you messaged me back and said no because most people just wouldn't say anything. But he messaged me back and said, we don't need any help right now, but I'll let you know if we do end up needing help, which is like, I was just blown away that he even was nice enough to say anything because a lot of people would just not responded. And so I was like, cool. And so I was like a little bit bummed because I thought it'd be really fun to work here. And then he messaged me like 30 minutes later. And I was like, actually,
I just found the messages. I can verify what he's saying.
Actually, you were like, actually, we are in need of an editor. Do you do any editing? And I messaged him back and I was like, yes.
Boy, do I.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I absolutely do. Because I was even thinking in my head,
whenever I was trying to... What I just looked at, I asked about... So you mentioned briefly in that first message you did video stuff.
That's right.
And then I asked you about a portfolio after you said you did editing, and you just sent me your Lightroom portfolio of just pictures.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I opened it, to be honest with you.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's literally just pictures. Yeah. Like, I
think I saw it come across like, there's no videos in there, and then
yeah,
carry on.
And so he messaged me back and was like, okay, great. Well, we're going to have you shoot. It happened very quickly. He was like, we're going to have you shoot our challenge video next Tuesday, and then you edit it and everything, and then we'll use it as like a trial run and see how people react to it. And then talk about possibly hiring you. And I was like, okay, sick. And then I was like, I've never shot sports before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even have a zoom lens. Like, I only had prime lenses, which, just let you know, that means lenses that don't zoom. And so I was like, how am I going to do this? So I got two of my friends. I was like, hey, will you guys just go throw some, and I'm going to practice just kind of following you? And we did that, and I got super distracted and made my friend a really funny video of him falling down.
Nice.
And didn't really practice that much. And then I went and shot the video with you guys. I was super nervous. I walked in here expecting to see my friends, but it felt really weird because I'd only watched you on YouTube for like the past year.
Yeah, I hadn't seen you in a long time.
What?
I hadn't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like we were friends, and I walked in here, I looked at you guys, and I was like, never mind, this is weird. But we went and shot that video, and it was really fun. I had a lot of fun with you guys.
What was the first one?
Drilling holes in discs.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Like, one of the first comments was, who's the guy behind the shaky camera? But I did that. Took me so long because I was so nervous about it. And then I did something wrong whenever I uploaded it. Like, there was like 4 minutes of just black screen.
Yeah, you left that after. I remember that too. Because I contemplated if I should take it down and edit it, or if I should text you and have you edit it.
And so I was like nervously, like the whole week, just like anxiously checking comments and like just seeing like, do people like it? And a lot of people liked it. Like, there was a lot of positive comments on it about like, oh, I love the new style. Like, I love how serious you guys are taking it, stuff like that. And so I texted Hunter and I was like, seems like people really like it. And he was like, all right, well, we're going to talk to Paul and Brody. And then,
next thing you know.
Yeah.
One thing that I'll say that you've always been good at, a lot better than me, is reading the positive comments. Because I breeze past them. I read them and I appreciate them. But then if like there's 10 comments in a row that say like, man, Hunter, great shot on hole 10. And there's one comment that like, wow, Hunter, you suck. I'm like, dang, everyone thinks I suck? What the heck's going on?
No, he very much is like that. And I send you texts like somewhat often of just like, people are really liking this about you in this video or stuff like that. I've definitely texted you like that before. And he's like, I don't even see stuff like that.
I've gotten better. I don't care about the comments as much now. I look at the like to dislike ratio. And as long as the like to dislike ratio is up there. Because one thing I keep telling myself, I don't know if it's true or not, but I like how it sounds, so I keep saying it, is that if you watch something or you look at something on social media and you agree with it, the most you're going to do is like. Yeah. You're not like, it's going to take something that you really love for you to comment. Yeah. So if you like something and it's good, then you'll like it. Mm-hmm. Or you might just scroll past it. Yeah. But then if there's something that you dislike, 90% of the time you're commenting about how much you dislike it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I keep telling myself is I'm like, I'm just reading the people who didn't like it.
But I say our comments are majority positive though. It depends on the video, but it
also depends on the mood I'm in when I'm reading them.
Now, I might just look at the positive comments mainly. I don't know if you guys...
I think the comments are majority positive now. Yeah. There was a span when I was getting a lot worse and Trevor was getting a lot better, and we were also trying everything different with video, trying to figure out the best style. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was the perfect storm for bad comments. Yeah. And it was rough.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a rough period of trying to make things better. Yeah. Because...
I mean, look at this podcast, for example. This is the third or fourth new studio in the last 3 months. But hey,
I think this one's here to change it next week. I'm just kidding. No, this one's good. We got our tables.
Yeah, we got our tables.
Yeah, these tables are really nice.
Yeah, they are. It worked out great.
Amazon.
Actually, Amazon. Everything. Not really. No, but yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon.com.
Not a sponsor. I've always wanted to say that. I don't know why. I got to. You lobbed me a softball. But yeah, no, it's definitely been fun. Actually, we got a message on a live stream once asking about how to get a job in disc golf. And I feel like the majority of jobs in disc golf come the way you just said, which is like you have somewhat of a connection to someone and you just message them.
And then, man, they suck you in.
Yeah, but...
And then you change your whole life plan because you're like, this is so much fun.
Yeah. That was awesome.
That's another story.
That's a whole different story. But no, that's something that, like, I'm a big Gary Vee listener. Mm-hmm. And it's something that he always talks about. This has nothing to do with disc golf, but it kind of does. Is, like, when you have something and you know you want to work in an industry and you're really trying to work in that industry, but it's hard to get into because it's always hard to get your dream job.
Yeah.
Then just message a lot of people that are doing exactly what you want to do and just offer to work for free. Just be like, look, here's what I can do. Because for me, it was graphic design. That's what before I started Foundation, that's what I was thinking. And I did this with a ton of people. It didn't really amount to anything, but it could have. I got to do a few cool things, but I would message people and just be like, hey, I'm a graphic designer. Like, if you ever need a logo, website, anything like that, like, message me. I would love to do it for free. Like, I would love to work with you. I really love your brand. I really love your, personality on YouTube. Like, it would mean a lot if I could just learn from you.
Yeah.
And you never know where that goes.
Yeah. It's all about like everybody has a like specific set of skills.
Yeah.
And if
like
you
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, but you find out how the things that you're good at can benefit somebody else, and you go tell them that you'd like to help them out and tell them how you can help them out.
Yeah.
And then I think you're right. You don't ask for a job at first.
No.
I mean, I didn't ask you for an editing job. I asked if you needed help stocking shelves,
which we didn't at that time.
Which you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then you just ask like, hey man, I'd love to help you with this. I think that this can like, what you just said basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I can help out in this way. I'd love to help you out with it.
And it's also just timing because you weren't the first person to reach out and offer that same like editing, shooting set of skills. But you were the one that asked at the right time, and you already had a relationship with me, so it was a much easier decision to make. That's true. I mean, had it been 2 months earlier, you wouldn't have been hired because we couldn't have done it. You know what I mean? It's
crazy.
But yeah, it's just it's timing. It's just how things work. But speaking of timing, the Dynamic Discs Open is going on actually right now. So we're shooting this. This is Wednesday at 1:25 p.m. is when we're shooting this. So I do want to look at a little bit of like what's currently going on out there on the course.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff might change from recording this episode to when it releases.
Well, one thing won't change. Brody's done with his round.
Well, a lot of people are done with their round. But yeah, there's some things to look at. One of them being Brody. Brody Smith was 7 down through 11.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all you need to know. Don't worry about the rest of it. Now, he ended up going...
he still ended up finishing well.
He ended up fine. Was he 7 through 11?
He was 7 through 11, yeah.
So he was 8 through 10. 6, yeah, he was 8 down through 10, then bogeyed 11, and then triple bogeyed 12, and then went birdie, eagle, birdie, par to finish. To go back to 9 down.
9 down, which is a good round.
Right now, he is currently tied for 5th. John Jones, who Trevor picked, is tied with Brody right now.
Yeah.
Last week.
I did notice that.
Which we'll talk about our dark horse picks for this week later. The hot round currently, though, is tied between Ben Callaway and Andrew Presnell at 13 under par.
Andrew Presnell.
This course is playing relatively easy, although I do want to highlight one thing on here. How do I sort? That's how I sort it. So Zach Melton right now, through 9 holes, is currently sitting at 1 over par. How many birdies do you think he has through 9 holes to be sitting at 1 over par?
To be sitting at 1 over par? Well, considering Brody got quite a few bogeys and quite a few birdies.
Let me go a little bit farther. He's 1 over par.
1 over par.
He only has 2 pars through 9 holes. How many birdies, bogey mixed? I just want you to guess.
If he's got 2 pars through 9 holes,
like how many birdies does he have, and how many bogeys does he have through 9 holes with only 2 pars?
I'm gonna say he's got.
The only way you would guess is if you'd seen it. I'll just tell you that.
I'll say he's got. Does he have 2 bogeys and a double?
No. So he took an 11 on hole 1.
Oh my gosh! What was the par for hole 1?
4.
What? How did? Was there a lot of OB?
Yeah. He went 7 over on the first hole, and then went birdie, 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 par, birdie, birdie, birdie. So he went 6 down after hole 1.
Oh my god!
But
the poor guy. He was
had
devoted after that though.
4 OB strokes on the first hole, and Zach Melton, the nicest guy on tour. By far. So I'm stoked that he was able to somehow get 6 birdies since then. Hopefully he's able to finish out his round.
That's awesome.
But
he was he was 1 over par after the front 9.
Yeah, he's through 9 right now, 1 over par.
That's rough, man.
With an 11.
That's rough, man. I would love to see what happened.
I would love to as well.
Like, because was it just like, was it bad throws, or was it just like he got unlucky?
I mean, the wind right now is only 7 miles an hour.
Does it tell you that on UDisc Live? Does it tell you, oh, they're just unlucky?
Yeah, that's actually a stat right here. Unluckiness. No, he just has 4 OB strokes. That's all it says. 4 OB throws.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. When I was looking through everything, I saw him. It just kept going up. It was like on fairway after 7 throws, on fairway after 9 throws, in circle 1 after. I was like, what is going on? And then he took an 11. But yeah, Ben Callaway and Andrew Presnell right now. Justin Rozak, which we'll go ahead to dark horse picks.
Yeah,
isn't he your dark horse pick?
He's my dark horse pick, dude.
Oh frick! I don't know if
you
Trevor,
may explain it.
Yeah, he did dark horse pick.
Trevor did tell me his dark horse
and
pick.
You tell Trevor's, and let me find who my guy was again.
So my dark horse pick, as you just heard, is Justin Rozak, and we know Justin, but
I've picked him before.
Okay, you have.
It's fair.
I wasn't sure about picking him, but I ended up going for it. But this weekend we shot a tournament, the Mountain Mayhem, in Roanoke.
Yep.
And the part of the course that was big and open, like in Emporia, is he crushed. He crushed and he putted well. He ended up getting third in that tournament. But it was mainly he lost his strokes in the woods, and he doesn't really have to deal with too much woods here. And so I feel like he's going to be crushing and he's going to be putting, and I think he's going to play well. So I chose Justin. Justin, there you go. Yeah. I believe in you. Don't let me down. It seems like how's he doing?
Yeah, so he's 11 down through 17 right now.
Yes.
He's currently 2 strokes out of the lead.
I didn't go for I didn't go for a really low rated player this time though. Usually I like to go for the low rated players.
He's not the highest rated.
He's not
possible.
But what's he rated?
I think he's like 987.
See, that's high for
988.
Me,
Justin Rozak.
Usually I pick him the 970.
So I don't know how my player's doing. We picked these players before they teed off. Should be fair.
Yeah.
I picked Nolan.
I was looking at him while they teed off, and I thought about maybe cheating a little bit, but I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't cheat at all. I literally just went straight to the list and scrolled. And I chose Nolan Ramser because he's 998 rated, and he's located in Kansas. So I was thinking, like, if the wind picked up, this guy knows how to play.
Yeah.
Let's see how my guy's doing. Let me Command F and search this thing. Nolan Ramser, my guy's 1 down through 3. So he's okay. He didn't blow up. He did take an 11 on one.
He didn't get 4 bogey strokes.
We're okay. Yeah. But yeah, Justin Rozak, 11 down through 17.
That's great. Justin, thank you, man. Thank you.
He still has 3 more rounds to go. Who is Trevor's pick?
Trevor's pick. Can I tell you exactly what he said?
Yes.
I said, Trevor, do you want to make a dark horse pick? And he said, while he's sitting on the beach reading from his Kindle Fire, probably, he said, yeah, I want J.C. Kester. Just look at his PDGA profile pic and you'll understand.
What is his okay, well, now I've got to click on him. J.C. Kester. Oh, it's him throwing a tomahawk into the face of the Hulk.
It's literally like him throwing off the front of the tee and the Hulk standing in front of him.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So.
And he's doing pretty good. He's 4 down through 5.
I mean, Trevor looked into it enough to find profile pictures.
I mean, he could have just clicked on a random guy's name. Because J.C. Kester is pretty close to 1,000.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Trevor does like to go for those close
997. So I've got him by 1 rating point.
You guys got to believe in people that...
I mean, it's working.
I don't believe in ratings. Like, ratings doesn't show how good you are. Like, this isn't a ratings podcast, but ratings are ridiculous.
I love how we always talk about how we don't care about ratings, and then like the first thing I look at is like, what's Justin Rozak rated? Yeah. 988. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. Oh well.
You literally told me yesterday how it's your pet peeve whenever this thing isn't wrapped around, and mine was just dangling there the whole time.
Okay, so looking at the DDO though, I mean, it kind of looks a little calm out there right now, which I think is why this course is playing easy.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think it was like a 4 mile per hour wind whenever I checked it.
Yeah, right now it's 7, and this course is definitely designed with wind in mind. Wind is what makes it more difficult. It looks like 66 degrees is what you had said at the moment. It's 73 right now. I think you picked that a little bit early this morning.
Yeah, it was earlier.
It does look kind of dry the rest of the week though, and then there's possibility of a windy Saturday, a windy final day.
Whenever I checked it, it was misty. It said it was misty, and it's like a 60% chance of rain.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But it's supposed to be dry the rest of the week, so hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. Everybody will just be playing better.
So let's go ahead and jump straight to predictions. Who do you have taken down? Who's your top 3? Now, this is a rare occasion because we can actually look at some rounds coming in out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen
if you
them.
want to.
I haven't seen them.
Okay. I'm not going to use them.
Well, nobody had. Whenever I was picking, nobody had of my picks were teed off yet.
I haven't made my picks yet, so I'm going to let you say your picks
right
first.
on the bandwagon, but I have reasoning. I'm going to go Paul Ricky Calvin.
I don't believe Ricky's here this week.
I thought I saw his name on there.
His name is on there, but I could have swore. I actually literally was talking to Ricky. I believe he is back home because
talking to Ricky.
His sister has brain cancer. Or a brain tumor right now, and I was just seeing if there was anything that Foundation could do. We shared cool. His. She has a GoFundMe set up. You can look if you go. Let me see her name. I believe it is Lauren. Lauren Wysocki Mays. You can go to her GoFundMe. He said he was headed back to South Carolina to see her.
Wow.
That was yesterday, and I believe he posted. 18 hours ago, he took an overnight flight to see her. So unless he came back for the tournament, which I do not believe.
Well, then I'm just going to throw out a provisional.
Yeah, you can keep him in your pick because he does have a 120 tee time.
Like that term there?
So he's on the feature. Well, I'm just trying to figure this out because he is on the live feature card.
Check the scoring. Has he teed off yet?
No, it's 120, so he'd be teeing off in an hour. So if he did come back, then he flew home, saw his sister in the ICU, and then came back to play, which he could do. It just seems unlikely to me.
Okay.
Go for it.
If he doesn't, my provisional will be, which by the if you weren't listening, I was proud of it. Yeah. But my provisional will be Paul, Calvin, Nico.
Oh.
Now I know that's weird, but I feel like he
does do good here.
And I have to honor Trevor a little bit. Trevor's a big Nico fan, so whenever he's not here, I'm gonna pick Nico for him.
That's valid.
But I will say I picked Paul and Ricky and Calvin originally for good reason. Obviously, some best players right now.
Yeah.
And I chose Paul. Paul's been a little bit out of it, but he won last time, and
I think he's won like 3 of the last 4 years.
Yeah,
or something like that.
And it's a good course for him. There's nothing to throw him off his game. He's not gonna hit a tree, and so like I feel like if he can just get out there and he can just pick a spot in the fairway, throw it to there, and he can make his putts, which he does, then I think he's gonna do well. Ricky's been playing. Ricky came in, I think, third. He came in third last time. So I picked him for second because he's been playing better this year than he did last year, I feel like. And then Calvin also he finished second last time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they're gonna stay up there.
So I'm gonna have a similar one, but I'm gonna sneak someone in there. So I'm going Calvin is taking it down this weekend.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. I don't know. It's Calvin.
Why?
I'm gonna have Paul coming in second because I agree with you. Paul just does well here. He's always in the mix. I would choose him to win, but you chose him to win. And in third place, super sneaky.
Ooh.
Nate Sexton.
Who is that?
Does he
play?
He's playing, yeah. It's a little bit of a out there pick because he hasn't played a lot of tournament disc golf in a while. He normally does pretty well out here because his forehand allows him to be safe. Could be an awful pick. I don't know. Because he hasn't, like I said, he might be a little out of practice. But
I'd love for him to do well because I'd love to watch him on lead card.
When you take a year off from something or you take a while off, you're so hungry to come back that you don't really care what kind of golf you're playing. And a lot of times that makes the best golf.
But you're right. He puts him in the fairway.
Yeah.
Especially at a course like this, I feel like he can put it in the fairway really well. And if he plays safe, then
Sexton golf.
Does. Yeah, he plays some Sexton golf, then
I'd
love for him to do well.
I have Nate Sexton coming in third place there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And Ricky's definitely a storyline to keep up with. And like I said, if you're in a position that can do something with the GoFundMe for his sister,
that's awesome.
If I remember, we'll put the link in the description. Hopefully I remember tomorrow. If not, just go over to GoFundMe and search and you'll be able to pull it up. But yeah, like I said, I know for sure he took an overnight flight home. Mm-hmm. Whether or not he's coming back for the tournament, that is up in the air at this moment. About an hour from now, that will be answered. We'll know if he teed off or not, and we'll know. Obviously, when you're listening to this, you'll already know what's been going down. But on the FPO side, who do you have as your top 3?
Why don't you go ahead and say your top 3?
You didn't look at it?
I forgot about it.
Okay, wow.
That's whenever I came over here to set up
first
for
off,
the
we
podcast.
have Paige Pierce is not here. She's in Hawaii, I believe, actually looking at property. she's possibly moving to Hawaii for her off-season home, which, I mean, why the heck not? That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So no Paige Pierce in this. So I've got to go Katrina Allen. I think she's going to go back-to-back here. She just went to Mexico for a friend's wedding, I believe. It looked like on her Instagram. I think she's going to be relaxed. I think she'd be ready. This is a thrower's course. Everyone in the comments knows. I think Katrina Allen's the best thrower of the disc in FPO. If her putt can even be somewhat on, I think she's going to take it down. I'm going to slide Haley King into second place.
Okay.
No, I'm going Sarah Hoka second. I'm switching it all up. Sarah Hokum is going to come in second place here. And then Missy Gannon, third place. I'm going to say that she just keeps it going. She rides that momentum. It's the Nick and Matt Show boost. She's going to take the Nick and Matt Show boost into a podium finish at the DDO.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go even more extreme because I remember I did look at this. I just forgot to write it down. I'm going to get really hopeful. And I'm going to put Missy Gannon in. I don't think I can put it in first.
Do you think she might win?
I think. Hey,
there's no pressure here. There's nothing on the line for these.
Right,
it's just the dark horse pick.
You're right.
The dark horse pick is the only thing that has anything on the line. And your guys 11
You
down.
know what? Well, then I might as well. I'm gonna
You're
go.
on top of the
I
world.
think that Missy Gannon is due for a win.
Okay.
And she's gonna win something. And I think that she might win this.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, but see, but Kat she's such a good thrower, and this course really helps her out with that. I'm gonna stick with it. Missy Gannon.
Katrina Allen is the most consistent second place finisher on earth.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
someone else might beat her.
So I'm gonna go with Katrina Allen for second.
Okay.
And then I'm just Haley King she crushes, and I feel like she's unstoppable on a course where she can throw really far and doesn't have to worry about overthrowing it because that's where her trouble is sometimes she throws too far, and so I feel like she's gonna come in third.
All right. Yeah. I mean the FPO hasn't teed off yet, so that's complete blind predictions there. MPO, I think everyone we picked hasn't teed off yet.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Justin Rozak is on the fairway on 18 right now. So
I hope that
good.
Brody,
I mean, he's
I hope
sneaking
Brody
up there.
places really well in this tournament.
The biggest thing I think for Brody to be watching storyline wise, and for Justin Rozak actually, and a lot of these players, is the USDGC spot right now. Andrew Presnell, Justin Rozak, Gannon Burr, 9 down through 15.
Yeah, I wanted to look at how Gannon was doing because he hadn't teed off when I was looking. He was 9 down through 15.
They're all in the mix for USDGC spot. Zachariah Johnson, Andrew Marweed, Anthony Barella, and Andrew Presnell.
I'd love to see Brody get that.
They are all in the mix right now. That's a fun storyline. You can turn that on and off on UDisc, the USDGC spots, and I believe this is also a Throw Pinks Women's Disc Golf Champion one as well, which is like the USDGC women's side. So that's a fun storyline to watch. But let's wrap up the show here with Make That Call. Let's see how well you know your rules here. From people who know, Konner is a rules expert. He has taken the official ruling exam over 5 times.
I've taken it over 5 times.
Yeah. Now, don't ask how many times he's passed it, but he's taken it over 5.
I've had to have at least passed it once in order to play nationals.
So there's your hint. So this is just straight from the PDGA Q&A.
All right.
Okay, so I'm not even putting you in a scenario. Yes, I am.
Right,
You're at a tournament.
Hold on. All right, I'm ready.
You're at a tournament.
Yeah.
The player who's next to throw. Actually, we'll put this into a more detailed scenario because this has literally happened to me. You're playing on Chase Card.
Gotcha.
At a professional tournament.
Congratulations, Konner.
Yeah.
You've made it.
It's you, Lance Brown, Travis Chumley, and Gavin Rathman. I don't remember who the 4th person was.
Cool. Got it. Hey, guys. Good round.
So Travis is up first. He tees off. There's a forehand like he always does. Gavin Rathman's up second. He tees off, throws. Lance Brown's third.
Mm-hmm.
Lance is nowhere to be seen. So he's not there. You're 4th on the card. Can you go ahead and throw? Or do you give the absent player more time to show up? And if so, how much time before you go and throw? So how much time do you give Lance before you step up to the tee and throw?
I know a couple of the rules in this. And by I know them, I mean I know of them. So I can't quite give you numbers and stuff like that. But I know you give them. I know there's a specific amount of time you give a missing player. I don't know what that amount of time is though. It can't be too long. It can't be. I'd say I don't know the amount of time, but I would say like he gets 2 minutes.
Okay. So the amount of time is 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay, that's what I wanted to say that, but I felt like that wasn't.
So that's part one.
I got now part two. What happens if he doesn't show up?
Yeah, Lance Brown, you gave him his 30 seconds.
And we've got to throw. We got to move on.
Now it's your turn. You step up you throw. What happens to Lance for that hole?
For every hole that he's not there, does he get a quadruple bogey?
Yes, that's correct. So every hole that Lance does not show up,
that's pretty. That's pretty impressive. 4. I know that.
Yeah, that actually happened to me at 2 days in May. I don't remember who all was on my card. I know it was me, Travis, Chumley, and there's one other person, and then Lance. And I literally saw Lance in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. Me and Lance right before we.
It was Lance that didn't.
It was literally Lance. Yeah, okay. I put you in the exact scenario. I just didn't remember the fourth, so I put Gavin in there. And we're at the parking lot. It's supposed to rain. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey Lance, I'm walking out to the hole. Lance goes, okay, I'm just going to run back to my car. We had like 15 minutes to wait. Mm-hmm. I'm going to run back to my car real fast, which is 100 feet from us, to get my my umbrella, and then I'll be on the tee. And I said, okay, cool, I'll see you out there. I walk out there, practice putt a little bit. 2 minutes is called, no sign of Lance. I'm like, well, that was 13 minutes ago. What the heck? 2 minutes, they all start. No sign of Lance. Travis is up first. He waited his full 30 seconds before he threw to give Lance more time. He waited like 25 seconds, ran up and threw. Whoever is second, 25 seconds, threw.
Yeah.
Lance's turn. We set a stopwatch, 30 seconds, and then I waited 25 seconds because if Lance would have shown up in between, we would have let him. It wasn't technically against the rules. It would have been against the rules. I released my disc. Okay, we were throwing on an island hole. Made the island, by the way. Nice. Ended up dropping out of cash at the tournament, so it doesn't matter. But the first hole was promising. I threw my shot. We put our bags on and we take like 2 steps forward, and here comes Lance sprinting up the hill. Oh. And we're like, Lance, we just teed off, man. He's like, no, I can throw. We're like, sorry, you're late. Yeah. You can't. He's like, just let me play a provisional. I was like, okay. So he called a provisional and threw.
What is that? Why would throw?
So he could appeal to the TD. Yeah. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
So he called a provisional, threw at OB, and then just walked to the OB, picked up his disc, and walked to the next hole because he knew he was wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, what? Got to go get my umbrella. Like, that's code for, right?
No.
And he pooped his pants.
Oh. What?
He had pooped his pants before he had to go change his pants.
No, he literally needed to get his umbrella.
Yeah, he pooped his pants. I guarantee you, if you called him, he pooped his pants.
I'm not going to call him. He's probably playing right now. He definitely didn't. He just had to get his umbrella. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know in the comments down below if we should revoke Connor's right to ever have a mic again, or if we continue giving him a mic. Well, you normally have a mic at the producer booth. We actually
I produce the show. I will give myself a mic.
That's true. We silenced our producer this week, Silas. He doesn't have a mic back there. He's just listening.
He looks great though.
Yeah, from our angle. But yeah, that's all. Be sure to tune in live. What just happened to my voice? Be sure to tune in live. It's the DDO coverage on the Disc Golf Network all weekend. Don't forget about our follow-up show, Foundation Follow-Up, going to be happening Friday night since the final round is Saturday. Who's going to be on that is still TBD. If nothing else, it'll just be me. That rhymes. So that's why
I like that you just made the decision just now that we're doing it.
Oh, we're doing it?
Yeah.
That was never a question.
Okay.
The question is, who are we doing it with or without? Because Trevor's still gone. I think Nick Carl is playing a tournament in Richmond this weekend. And then, so the question is it going to be me and you, or is it just going to be me? That's the to be determined.
See how we
part.
feel.
Yeah. We'll see how you receive this episode with Connor to decide if he's ever given a mic again. But other than that, guys, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
See ya.